Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a tag video today and I was tagged by the lovely Ashley Muscats Noel of YouTube. She's tagged me to do the My First Time tag, and it's a series of questions about your first time doing things. And no, we won't be talking about that special thing. I want to thank Ashley for tagging me. Very thoughtful and sweet of you. And let's jump into the questions. And the first question is, do you still talk to your first love? And the answer there is no. We broke up a long time ago and it didn't go over very well with him. He got very emotional and bitter, and he thought that it was because of other people, and really it was just it was one of those things where like I just needed to move on with my life and he was kind of holding me back. So yeah, I broke up with him and he didn't take it well, so we don't talk anymore. And that's okay. He's living his life, I'm living mine. What was your first job? Let's see, I have to think about this. I did a lot of volunteer work as a kid when I wasn't old enough to, get paid to work. But my first job was, I was a peer health educator at my school in high school. And I would go to different schools and different classes at my high school and teach kids about teen dating, relationship violence, and domestic violence. So it was a kind of a topic I just kind of fell into, and I realized how rampant and such a big issue it is that not a lot of people know about. And we would even go to middle schools and some elementary schools and do little class workshops on bullying. And as you can tell today, bullying hasn't gone anywhere. If you've ever gone to public school, you know bullying is real. So yeah, I was really passionate about that, and we would talk to kids all over the city, and I got paid minimum wage to do it, but it was kind of cool because it was extracurricular, yet it was a job. So yeah, that was my first job. What was your first car? My first car was a Subaru Impreza 2.5 RS. It's a coupe, and it was 1999. I loved my first car, but unfortunately I totaled it. Yeah. I love that car. It was a silver coupe, and if you know anything about cars, that's one of Subaru's most popular body styles because they didn't really make too many then. 1998 was the first year the 2.5 RS came to America in that GM6 body style. So yeah, it was kind of a collector's car, and I'm really sad that I don't have it anymore. Who was the first person to text you today? Let me check. It was my coworker who, it's his first week at the job and he doesn't have office keys, so he texted me to see if I was at the office yet because he was locked out with his coffee. The next question is, who was the first person you thought of this morning? Probably my boyfriend, and I was probably thinking like, oh crap, did my alarm wake him up? I think that was Ashley's answer as well. Who was your first grade teacher? Her name was Mrs. Sue, and she taught my kindergarten and first grade classes, and she was the best. Next question, where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? And I believe that was Hawaii. My dad was a construction worker, and he often had jobs that would take him out of state or to different counties across the state. He's worked in Hawaii, he's worked in Tahoe, he's worked in the South Bay, like all areas of the Bay Area. But he had a job when I was, I think, turning 2 in Hawaii, and my mom and I flew out there to see him and also celebrate my second birthday. I don't remember it, but I do hear horror stories of being that baby crying on the airplane. Okay, next question. Who is your first best friend, and do you still talk? And no, and I don't even want to say her name because the way that our friendship ended, like, it's not even worth my time. But I'll just put it short and sweet because I know I have some younger viewers and people that, you're easily influenced by your friends, that you grow up with. And one of my friends, she just fell into the wrong kind of lifestyle really young, and it totally just changed her personality, persona, how she looked, how she acted, how she spoke, how she carried herself 100%. Like, she did a full 180 in the course of a couple weeks, just starting to hang out with the wrong people, starting to get into, substances and activities that are illegal and just not right. And she fell down a bad path. And we don't talk, but she's at a very different point in her life. She had 2 kids before she was out of high school. No, she didn't finish high school, but she just went down a very different path than me, and I even think that, like, if we were to rekindle our friendship, we would just have absolutely zero in common today, so I'm not really even interested in talking to her anymore, so just being truthful there. And now for a more uplifting question. Where was your first sleepover? Can't remember. No idea. Probably at her house. It's sad to say. Whose wedding were you in for the first time? And the first wedding I was in, like the bridal party, was my good friend Rhiannon's wedding. And it was a lot of fun. Let's just say there was a fountain there, and by the end of the wedding, we were all dancing in the fountain. With our clothes on, though. It was a lot of fun. Really good wedding. What was the first thing you did this morning? Brush my teeth? Hop in the shower? Actually, no, that's a lie. Check my phone. Check email, check Twitter, time hop, that kind of stuff. I am addicted. Or actually, first thing I did, press the snooze button. Duh. Next question, what was the first concert you ever went to? I think the first concert that I went to that I really wanted to go to, like not at a festival, you know, a street festival where there are bands playing. The first concert I ever went to was a Green Day concert, and it was the Green Day tour with Jimmy Eat World and Blink-182, and I was 14 years old, and it was totally awesome. The only part that sucked is that I went with my parents, and I had my binoculars because we were sitting in the nosebleeds, and I could see friends from school like down in the mosh pit and like in the general admissions section, like the standing area, and we were at the top with my parents, and it was kind of lame, but really good concert, and I'm, you know, thankful they took me. So yeah. First broken bone, never broken a bone. First piercing, they were my earlobe piercings, and I got them when I was an infant. And fun fact, I screamed and cried so bad when I got my earlobes pierced as a baby that my mom decided to not do it with her second born child, with my sister, because she just said I was in too much pain, and growing up my sister was always jealous that I had pierced ears and she didn't. So you win some and you lose some. First foreign country you've gone to? Mexico. We went to Mexico on a cruise, and I remember because we didn't need to get passports because we went on a cruise and you could just use your birth certificate to go to Mexico, but I think the rules have changed since then. The first movie you remember seeing? Totoro. I saw Totoro when I was about 3 or 4 years old at my next door neighbor Sophie's house. Back when we were bitty bitty little ones. When was your first detention? Never had detention. Who was your first roommate? Well, my sister. We shared a room all growing up, but my first roommate, you know, like in college, God, what was her name? Sadie? Her name was Sadie, and she was finishing her undergrad as I was just going into undergrad, and she was one of those roommates who was never there. Like, she was always at her boyfriend's house, but her parents, like, paid her rent, so she didn't want to tell them she was moving in with her boyfriend, so she just let them pay rent at our place. Really weird, you know, but whatever. It's none of my business. But her name was Sadie, and she was very nice and very smart. I remember that. And very quiet. The opposite of me. What were the first lessons you ever took? Swimming lessons at the local pool. Who was the first person beauty related on YouTube that you ever watched? Gosh, I'd have to say it was either Candy Johnson or Julie G. Yeah, I gotta say Candy Johnson or Julie G, because both of those ladies are just so fun to watch. I love the way they explain things. Well, first of all, they both have great energy in two very different ways. I mean, Candy is just a ball of energy and just overall positive person, and Julie G just has a knack for teaching people. Like, the way she explains stuff, she's very calm, she's very poised, she's very professional, and I think, you know, both of them are very talented makeup artists and entrepreneurs and video hosts that I just couldn't stop watching after that. So, Julie G and Candy Johnson. And that's about it for my first time tag. I hope I didn't skip any questions, but I believe I covered them all. And hopefully you got to know me a little bit better. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in my next video.